Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. My name is Chimobi Walter Naji. Glad to have you with us. Let's take the headlines. President Buhari commends officers and soldiers of Guards Brigade for exhibition of high-level professionalism in outgoing year. Update on Katsina school attack. 333 students confirmed missing. First truck carrying COVID-19 vaccine for widespread use in the U.S. pulls out of Michigan factory. President Buhari lauds sterling qualities of Nigerian-born boxing champion Anthony Joshua. And now we'll take the news in full as 333 students have been declared missing after bandits attack on Government Science Secondary School, Kankara, in Katsina State. Awal Haliru reports.
The federal government delegation led by the Minister of Defense, Magashi retired, comprises National Security Advisor and the service chiefs. They were in Katsina to sympathize with the government and people of the state on the unfortunate incident. Governor Aminu Bello Masari said the school has a population of 839 boarding students cut across parts of the state and other states of the country.
We are yet to account for 333 pupils, and we are still counting because more are coming out of the forest. And we are calling through the numbers, those parents that have numbers, to find out whether their children have gone back home.
He said the state government was yet to be contacted by any group responsible for abduction of the students. The leader of the delegation, Minister of Defense, Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi retired, explained that rescue operation for the missing students was given the greatest priority by the government.
Our mission to come and sympathize with you and assure you that all hands are on desk within the armed forces of Nigeria and the police to ensure that this rescue mission is given the greatest priority in our administration.
The minister charged the armed forces and the police, as well as other security agencies, to move fast to ensure that the students are rescued. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
Talking security, the Directorate of Defense Media Operations, DMO, says the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has recorded more successes in its air campaign against Boko Haram terrorists bandits in the northeast of the country. DMO Coordinator Major General John Enenche says the latest of these was achieved through airstrikes at Njimia on the fringes of the Sambisa Forest in Borno State. Nigerian Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunships engaged the location, resulting in the neutralization of several bandits as well as damage to their structures after a series of aerial surveillance missions showed an upsurge of activities in the settlement. And President Muhammadu Buhari has commended officers and soldiers of Guards Brigade for the high level of discipline and professionalism exhibited in the year 2020. The President, represented by his Chief of Staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, gave the commendation at the Guards Brigade's 2020 West African Social Activity WASA. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports was there at the Mambila Barracks in Abuja, venue of the event.
Tug of war, a physical exercise, a dominant feature of the annual West African social activities known as WASA. WASA is an age-long tradition of the Nigerian Army, marking the end of training activities for the year. It also provides an avenue for the authority to reward excellence and gallantry in the force.
WASA is further used to promote esprit de corps with other security agencies who are also invited to the ceremony.
Guards brigades are done very well within the year in ensuring that the Federal Capital Territory remains peaceful, in addition to their enormous responsibility of safeguarding Mr. President, the first family, and the conduct of ceremonial duties.
Nigeria's diverse rich cultural heritage was showcased in including the electrifying Lupe Waste Dance. The event also featured project inauguration. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And away from security matters now, federal government is training 20,000 youths in various skills to participate fully in the Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project. Joshua Ojito reports that National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, is facilitating the training under the Local Content Development Initiative.
From the pool of unemployed youth in the country, 20,000 with 500 youth each from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT are to be trained as part of the workforce that will be engaged in the construction of Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project. They will be trained on electrical house wiring, ICT essentials, plumbing and pipe fitting for plants and buildings, catering management, as well as mastering and bricklaying.
Where the youths are idle and they are not doing anything, what do you expect of them? Violence. But with this initiative, it will keep them busy.
4 weeks is the duration of the training to produce manpower relevant to the Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project. Minister of Power Saleh Momon flags off the program in Jalingo with the selection process to be carried out online.
I am hopeful that with your kind support, the ESET program will succeed and will empower our teeming youth with skill to be self-reliant and potential entrepreneurs.
Yes, sir, will definitely enhance human capital development among our youths.
NAPTIN is well prepared, to run these, programs to a very, very successful, end.
The youth that are around the project, they will be given first priority to be employed under the semi-skill that is going to, be required.
The Mambila Hydroelectric Power Project is expected to create 50,000 local jobs during the construction phase. In Jalingo, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Now, a workshop on learning Arabic language has opened in Abuja, organized by the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates. The workshop is to commemorate the UN World Arabic Language Day. Anthony Forson reports.
UN Arabic Language Day is observed annually on the 18th of December. The event was established by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization in 2010. The idea is to celebrate multilingualism and cultural diversity, as well as to promote equal use of all 6 official languages through the United Nations. And so, at this workshop, organized by the Embassy of the United Arab Emirates, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed noted that the event, apart from being instructive, given the current global interest in the establishment of latest diplomatic approachment between nations and the renewed zeal to combat violent extremism, as well as promote pluralism and multiculturalism, Arabic language has become key in diplomatic, scholarly, and cultural circles because it has been well positioned.
In other words, Arabic language is one of the ancient and earliest known languages to mankind. It is unique and renowned for its rich diglossia and employed on a daily basis as a medium of spiritual and theistic interaction between God and adherents of Islam, who number over 1.8 billion people.
In Nigeria, the minister said Arabic language has been extolled for its contribution to national development.
In addition to functioning as a storehouse of the nation's history and indeed that of Africa, the language is presently spoken by the Shor Arabs, an ethnic stock in the northeast of the country, with cultural and historical affiliation to the wider Bakarat tribe in East Africa.
The Emirati ambassador to Nigeria, Fahad Al-Tafak, said the Arabic language has remained a pillar of cultural diversity on humanity because it is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world.
As a prominent form of global expression, the Arabic language is celebrated for its diversity, which ranges from oral expressions to poetic calligraphy. It's fascinating aesthetics and historical achievements in various fields such as architecture, mathematics, science, poetry, philosophy, and arts.
He maintained that Arabic language has played a prominent role in the emergence of civilization with its links to other languages. There was a presentation on diversity of the Arabic language by Dr. Fayez Abdelal and another on Arabic and Arabists in Nigeria by Professor El-Kadir Abdubak. They all alluded to the fact that continuous struggle and persistent support for the language is not for the sake of the Arabs but to defend civilizational legacy of Africa. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And the press in Nigeria may have had more than 2 guarantees in the 1999 Constitution as amended. The permission to express itself and represent the public freely within the ambits of this freedom remains much to be desired. Justin Bemunyi reports that this came to the fore at a Freedom of the Press and Codes of Conduct workshop organized for Nigerian journalists and media houses.
Visible in the Nigerian Constitution are sections portraying the right of freedom of expression and the press, as well as the obligation of the mass media. The question now is how well has this freedom been implemented in the country? Resource persons here and participants opined that to an extent, though not enough, the Nigerian state has given that freedom when compared to other countries. The issue now has to do with the press not being professional enough to either going junk or becoming partisan, rather than representing the interest of society and national stability. To curb the excesses, strict adherence to the ethics of journalism is the advocacy.
And what are the basic ethics of journalism? You go only for those things that shall represent public interest, public good, public conscience, not to raise tension within the society so that the country either goes into implosion or it atrophies.
That Nigeria should still aspire for more expressly stated freedom for the media and its burgeoning participants. Burgeoning participants because it is no longer only those who trained as journalists that UNESCO today now recognizes as journalists.
Some of the things you read on the headlines of newspapers and the publisher, the editor goes to bed and sleep and allowed. They are not allowed in countries like Somalia, in Sudan, name them, many countries you cannot get that freedom. But we are not yet there in Nigeria. We're still battling with the freedom because of now the advent of the social media.
The capacity building workshop organized for selected journalists from the major media houses in Nigeria was to enhance and update them on the current threats to the freedom of the press in Nigeria and review with them the applicable codes of conduct guiding their activities. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
All right, this is the news on NTA International. More reports after this break. To stay with us.
What limits you? Nothing. Who defines you? No one. Where can you go? Everywhere. With unlimited super-fast internet access, free Intel to Intel calls, and crystal clear quality conversations, you can do and be whatever you want to be. Intel. Live more.
Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
I want to reiterate that the House will do all it can to make sure that everybody that has suffered from police violence, whether you are from the north, from the east, from the west, because everybody in Nigeria suffered from police violence, not just those of us from the southwest. That will be applicable to all, including policemen that lost their lives in this unfortunate incident.
Let's build and not destroy.
Glad to have you back on the news. Now, in a bid to chart a new course for deliberate efforts at identifying and rejuvenating new culture of leadership in Nigeria is the driving force for the Nigerian Prize for Leadership. Haman Jabani reports that it is also to praise credible succession of leaders for the nation on a sustainable basis and across different sectors of society.
For the 6 first ambassadors of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership, after undergoing a 4-week intensive leadership training that centered on 5 cardinal principles of social, physical, emotional, intellectual, and psychological capacities, which the Nigerian Prize for Leadership believes will make them to live a life of community for nation and humanity. While the ambassadors see this as an opportunity to change the narrative, it is also to be that which will answer questions as to what really represent qualitative and valuable leaderships in Nigeria.
We're going to the grassroots, we're passing the mindset we've acquired in this place, we're making sure that every Nigerian youth in our sphere gets this message we've gotten in this place.
The change begins with me, and as I do that, I begin to practice this in every day of my life, in everything I do. Wherever I find myself, I must begin to preach the message of doing the right thing.
The president of African Development Bank, Dr. Akuyemi Adesina, in his lecture with the theme Leadership Excellence and the Secret of Weaving Diversity into National Cohesion, believes that drastic educational development must be embraced to achieve the leadership and change needed.
As a nation, Nigeria should do all possible to invest itself and reinvent itself by focusing on its youth. Today we have 206 million, 70% of them under the age of 30 years. What Nigeria does with its youth will determine and shape its future.
Nigerian Prize for Leadership is optimistic that the move is geared towards having a better future leaders.
Our mission is to institute and project a truly Nigerian leadership prize that will inspire Nigerians to lead a life larger than self.
The Prize for Leadership would attract cash, medal, plaque, and monetary prize next year. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Haman. And in the studio to discuss the Leadership Award and the Ambassadors Program is Dr. Ike Neliako. He is the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Prize for Leadership. Glad to have you with us in the studios tonight, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so can you shed more light on the Nigeria Prize for Leadership Ambassadors Program?
Thank you. It's one of the initiatives of the governing board of the Nigerian Prize for Leadership, led by Professor Anya O. Anya. The thinking is very clear. If we do not begin early to cultivate, groom, and train our successor generation, we may have a very big crisis in our hands. We did a research, and we discovered that really majority of our young people have not gone through a formal process of being trained as leaders. And usually when we talk about leadership, the understanding some people have would be the issue of governance, just governance, leadership, politics, and so on. But we all know that leadership cuts across every sphere of society, right from the family. The way we bring up our children will determine the kind of people that they will end up to be. You go to economy, go to education sector, across board. This is a response to what is going on in the society, where the youths are becoming a bit seriously concerned about their future. What the ALP, the Ambassadors Leadership Program, is set to do is to consciously and deliberately raise a generation of Nigerian leaders who will show credibility, exhibit integrity, but beyond integrity, show character and competence. What we've done is to take them across different aspects. We brought in about 12 organizations that partnered with the NPL to take them through this program, because we believe that no one organization has the key to leadership that cuts across, that will make our young people to be competitive in the 21st century.
All right, sir. What would want to ask, can you talk about the main MPL award, and why is it not taking place this year? And then what makes it stand out among many others?
Okay, first of all, it's not an award, it's a prize.
Okay.
And this prize is presented. Why is it different, and why didn't it take place this year? It didn't take place because we were not able to go through the entire process that has been designed by the team of technical expertise, people that were put together, a team led by Professor Ibida Obe. They gave us a strategy that must be adhered to strictly. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19, we were not able to go through all the processes, and the board insisted that to pick the prize winner in this important area of leadership, we must go through the entire process so that whoever emerges will show clearly that the person emerged. Now, the next question is, how is this different from all the other ones we have? This is the first time that we are having a truly Nigerian leadership prize. And it's not an award. At the end of the day, whoever becomes the prize winner will be given monetary support. He's winning a prize. He pays a price to win the prize. He's giving monetary support, and for 1 year that he will reign as the prize winner, some young people who would have also passed through the processes will be attached to him as proteges, and he will take them on, or she will take them on wherever he or she goes. Okay. Whatever he or she does, these young ones will be learning from him to know what has distinguished him or her to win the award in question.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ike Neliaku, the Executive Secretary, Nigeria Prize for Leadership, for being with us and giving us your insights on the news this night.
Thank you.
And now to other matters. The U.S. set to commence administration of Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, just as the UK and EU agree to extend post-Brexit trade talks. Uche Ogochukwu tells us more on the global scene.
The U.S. will start mass vaccination with the Pfizer-BioNTech coronavirus vaccine from Monday after it was authorized for emergency use. Officials overseeing distribution said the first 3 million doses of the vaccine would be shipped across all states this weekend. Meanwhile, Germany is to go into lockdown over the Christmas period as the number of deaths and infections from the coronavirus reaches record levels. Non-essential shops will close across the country from Wednesday, as well as schools, with children to be catered for at home where possible. Now, the global confirmed infections tally have surpassed 72 million, as shown on Wedometer coronavirus dashboard as at 6 p.m. Nigerian time. Just as Nigeria continues to record rise in new cases, with 617 patients detected Saturday. On other news, the UN chief, Antonio Guterres, told journalists on the sidelines of a virtual climate ambition summit that rich nations are lagging badly on the 2015 Paris Agreement, urging all countries to declare a state of climate emergency.
The two tests of leadership today is to show climate ambition, take climate action, mobilize climate finance, and demonstrate climate solidarity.
In the meantime, UK and EU have agreed to continue post-Brexit trade talks beyond deadline after a call between leaders earlier on Sunday. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said they would go the extra mile to get a deal.
We are willing to grant access to the single market to our British friends. It's the largest single market in the world. But the conditions have to be fair.
Me that this was kind of a bit like twins, and the UK is one twin, the EU is another, and if the EU decides to have a haircut, then the UK has got to have a haircut.
Thanks for staying with us. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
Many thanks, Uche, for that package. Now, Crystal Palace and Tottenham ended their match 1-1 as Southampton beat Sheffield United 3-0. For all that reports, over to Emanzi Marcus on Sports Update.